Hey guys, I just wanted to come before you today and tell you about the upcoming Qigong class that we got going on. It is going to be February 23rd, and it's the Year of the Snake Qigong class. And why is that exceptionally important for this year? Well, in essence, we just had these radical fires in Los Angeles, and it burned down, 5-10% of the city, whatever it was. It was a very large fire. It's kind of like the fires they had, like the Chicago fire, the San Francisco fire in like the early 1900s. It's kind of on that magnitude and scope for those people who don't live in the area. But in essence, during the fires, there were able to be a lot of animals saved from different sources. And for one thing, that's a very, very old Daoist practice. The Daoists would typically go down to floods and fires and try to rescue people and animals in those situations. And that was part of the reason they had such like intense training protocols, not just from the martial arts side or the physical fitness side, but also from the medical side. So they would have specific protocols that they would put into place, and it would help with life-saving measures in terms of acupuncture and other things. So that's one little side note to mention, is just within Taoism, that is something that they practice, and that was something that a lot of his students, myself included, were engaged in during the fires in varying degrees. So that was something interesting. And the first couple days of the fires, Dr. Wu was made aware of the fires, and so he did a very cursory short form I-Ching calculation, and his calculation was that the winds were going to die down the next morning, which was the 8th of January at 3 a.m. And one of his students actually recorded outside during that time, and the winds did in fact stop at that 3 a.m. juncture. And there's like video evidence of all that and all that jazz. So he's going to go over briefly some of the I-Ching predictions, not only for the fires, but also for the rest of the year. And to cover more in depth about what the Year of the Snake means, it's kind of a spirit of good and bad. He talked about this being 50% good luck and 50% bad luck for the year. And so the Year of the Snake has an aspect of both revenge and making money and healing. Those are kind of the three main points I want to cover here. So in terms of revenge, what is the snake getting revenge for in terms of the fires? That's anyone's guess. Could be a lot of different political factors. We don't know, But in essence, there's just a spirit of revenge that the Year of the Snake brings with it. And that's been well documented over history. And why the fires? It's because it's the year of the green snake, and green represents wood in the 5 elements system. And the green snake typically has more of a spirit of the revenge spirit. But this is a special year, as it's the year of the double-headed snake. And what does that mean? It means it's both being ruled over by the green snake and the white snake. And how do they calculate this within Taoism? It's because the Chinese New Year actually fell so early in the year. Typically, the Chinese New Year will fall like mid-February, but the way that the lunar calendar worked out for this specific year, it falls in January. And that represents like a longer year, and they're going to represent as like the two sides of the double-headed snake. And double-headed snakes themselves are a very interesting phenomena. They do occur in nature, and according to Dr. Wu, it's like 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 100,000 snakes born will be that double-headed snake. And they have their own unique way of like attacking, and it's different than a single-headed snake. And so he's going to cover more information about what the double-headed snake does. But in essence, it's a very, very spiritual year, because the double-headed snake is more spiritual than the single-headed snake. And so it does have more of a spiritual overtone than a general Year of the Snake year would have. And it also has more interesting opportunities, because not only do we have the green snake, but we also have the white snake. The white snake is the one that can really lead to abundance and making money and all these things. So even though a lot of people were unsuccessful or lost everything in the fires, like for certain of his students, it actually ended up being a very positive period of time. And that's the duality nature of the Year of the Snake. Like some people go up, some people go down, or down. So in essence, it's a very unique time, and the practices that he's going to teach us are going to basically fully put that on display and show us how to maximize our efforts for the year through the Qigong form, which is going to embrace the energy of the snake. So aside from just having a snake as a pet, which is actually good for this year, this allows you to internalize that snake energy inside of your body to attract the right type of success, or overcome the challenges and avoid the disaster as well. So it's both, attracting the good and repelling the bad, so that's kind of the whole thing for this year. But the abundance portion of the snake actually comes from an old parable, which is that the tiger, it has something to do with the head of the tiger with the tail of the snake. And even though it's thought of in Chinese as like a person who starts off really good but finishes nothing they start, it's really a misinterpretation. It means the snake can kind of like lead to wealth. So he's going to explain that more. I didn't even really understand that concept clearly. And the other thing is the white snake brings a lot of rain. So right after we had the fires, there was like torrential downpours and, flash flooding like 2 weeks or a week and a half after the fires. And then even a week after that, we had another kind of 2 or 3 days of heavy rain, which for Los Angeles is pretty rare. So even though last year was the year of the dragon, and the dragon also brings rain, the white snake is what typically governs large rains or floods as well. So, but they're going to be basically these two ideologies of these two different snakes are going to be competing throughout the year. And that is what's going to cause a lot of dramatic political events that we're going to see. So you're going to have competing agendas in a lot of the different political spheres. So it should be a very interesting year. But overall, the year of the snake doesn't have to be a bad year, and it gets a bad rap because the other portion that I wanted to talk about is the medical portion. And people who've had like long-term illnesses or things that are just like acute problems that they can't really get to go away, the year of the snake is a time to get those illnesses like out of the body. So the snake has a really unique medicinal property, which is very commonly seen in terms of Western medicine, as you have the caduceus, which is the two snakes wrapping around the pole that you see at all the doctor's offices. And even in the Chinese system, they have like a similar kind of symbol that they use for doctor's offices and things like that. So it's a very, very powerful signal, because if you've ever been around snakes or known a snake, if you have any weird ailments or things like that, if you get close enough to a snake and you have like, let's say you have a knee problem, you might feel some like more pain in your knee getting closer to a snake. Why does that happen? It's because the illness in the body is actually responding to that snake's presence. So a little more on the esoteric side, but just is what it is. So anyway, if you want to attend class, it's $570, and you just gotta pay his office, or I can help you, Zelle money or whatever. It doesn't matter, but it'll be a great class. It's 11 to 6 p.m. February 23rd, Los Angeles time, and it'll be held at his office for people who want to attend in person, which is 1930 11th Street, Santa Monica. And it'll just be a good, very informative, and in some ways life-changing class for a lot of people. So I really hope you can attend. I've been studying with him for over 12 years, co-authored a book with him called Human Body Feng Shui, and really try my best to embody Daoist principles within my own life. And it's been quite interesting, and a very, very positive experience for me over the years. So I thank you very much for everything. And yeah, if you guys need anything, hit me up. My name's Austin. My number's 310-923-8959. You can call me with any questions before class. I got you. Thank you.